This is an Ellis Mowers and Mower small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's repair video, hopefully it's a quick one for us. This is a Craftsman LT1000. These silver Craftsmen seem to keep finding me here lately. There's that LT2000 back there, and then I sold another LT2000 that was just like the one back there. You'll see that one on a future video. This one seems like it's a little bit quicker to fix, so I kind of let this one leapfrog. I got this on a trade deal from somebody who is now a new subscriber, and got my John Deere LX266 lawn tractor, and I got this on trade plus a little bit of cash. He was trying to get this fixed, but was having issues with like bent push rods and valves and stuff, and he was just ready to not work on a Briggs and Stratton Intek engine anymore. So he got that John Deere LX266, got the Kohler engine on it, the Kohler single. That thing ran like a top. He's going to have a heck of a mower. He's already sent me pictures of putting a newer style hood on it and things along those lines, which is great. So everybody's happy in the deal. He also gave me a Boland's push mower, big wheel push mower you won't see on the channel, to fix as well. Looks like it doesn't need too much work. This thing right here is actually one of the nicer ones that I've seen in a while. It looks like it was kept up pretty well. The front end isn't really all that smashed. Headlight lens is fairly clear, and of course we'll do the whole cleaning aspect to it a little bit later. This one's got the 12 gauge deck on it as well, so that's awesome. And hopefully the only thing I really have to do to it major wise, which it really isn't that major to me if y'all seen what all I've done here on the channel, it is just get these push rods to where they're not bending, and as long as the valve seat isn't backing out in the head, we're fine. But I think for our conversation he adjusted the valves improperly, and that caused the push rod to bend, hopefully, right? So we'll get into this. I'll give you a walk around. Also, it came with a bagger, which is fantastic, and we've got a couple of little things that we need to do on this before, in addition to the push rod situation, but we'll get there. So I'll give you a walk around and we'll get started on the repair. Alright, quick walk around on this LT1000. This is, again, a silver one. It's a newer model. It's the generation after the hunter green ones. It looks like a brand new right front is on it. Still got the little nipples on the tire, if you can see that right there. Left front actually looks fairly new too. It may just be turned to the left more than the right, and this one has just a little more wear on it. Seats in great shape. That's hard to find, especially these styles with the glue on the back likes to separate from them. Dash bezel looks good. We're not going to have to do any spray painting or anything. Kind of looks like he did a little bit, or it was done at some point previously. 42-inch deck, obviously. 2-bin hard bagger. And the, like I said, 18 horsepower Briggs and Stratton Intek. He has put a fuel line on it. Fuel filter. Battery is in good shape, although it's from 2020. It's still holding a charge. It's got 12.7 volts in it. I think you put a carb on it too. Air filter, I believe. So, I mean, this thing's basically been serviced already. It's just I got to figure out this awesomeness here. 31 is a 31H777. And we'll open up that valve cover, see what we've got. And like I said, hopefully it's just a matter of adjusting the valves and putting a new push rod in, which he has provided me, which is awesome. So let's look at the belts while we're here too. The only other big thing I've got to figure out here is fixing this little button, because that doesn't work very well. But I've got a couple of them buttons here, because y'all know that part is actually really, really hard to find. So every LT1000 I get, I pop the button off of, because I need to keep them for this reason. So, and I'll probably put another ignition switch on it. This one is, the clip on it is bad. He put a screw in it to make it a little bit better. I could put another self-tapping screw in it up here to hold it on a little bit better, and I might do that as long as the ignition switch works. Here's your serial number on this one, 917274391. That's your model number. Your serial number 092204 means it was made September 22nd of 2004. Got the 12 gauge deck on it like I mentioned. We're going to check the belts while we're here. This deck belt seems a little thin, but it is in good shape. And then if I can feel the drive belt actually is going to have to be replaced. I don't know if I can get y'all to see through that hole right there, but it is missing chunks in it. So, yeah, that's not that big of a deal. I knew going in I had to do a couple of maintenance items. Once we get the deck off, we may have to check the blades and stuff too. Not completely sure. And we'll make sure this deck belt is also good to go whenever we sell it as well. So, given all that, we'll take the hood off, take this valve cover off, see what the carnage inside is. All right, let's get inside here. And, you know, trade-wise, I gave him a decent amount on this. I had that LX266 listed for $500. And I got this, the Boland's push mower, and $200 for this. So after I sell that Boland's push mower, probably for about $100, I'll be only $200 in the hole on this on trade value. Not that big of a deal at all. Let's take a look. Oh, we're missing a valve cap here too, so that will cause issues. I think he may have given one to me or have one for me. I'm just going to spin it over a little bit just to see, because they look like they were not. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the issue. I don't think the intake valve is the issue, although I'll double check it if I can. Now, the intake valve looks straight. So he said he cranked it up, heard a pop, and that was it. That's probably what it's going to be right there. So 10 millimeter and T20 are going to get this off. Let me grab those. I know I've got one of these caps, and I'm going to say that my man gave me one too. That thing seems loose though. Well, that might be why. Oh crap. Ugh. This is going to be a bigger job than I thought, y'all. So, luckily, I have a ton of these in stock. Because right there is a broken head stud for the valves. So, that's where our issue is. So, we will be putting a head and a head gasket on this. I think I have both of them, if I'm not mistaken, and we're going to go to town on it because I'd love to get this one done today. So, did it bend the push rod? Does not appear to have. Did it bend the push rod? No. So it didn't bend the push rod. Let's pull this one off while we're here. This isn't that big of a deal. It's just a little frustrating. And he didn't know. It's not fault of his. I take a risk. So, I take a risk. And, I mean, this risk will pay off. It's just going to take me a little bit more than I originally thought to get what we need. Well, if anything, the push rods are good, so we can reuse them. These little clip things, that one's broke, but whatevs. So, alrighty then. What I'm going to do, y'all, is put y'all on a time lapse. And we are going to go to town on taking down this head, putting a new one on. We all saw that it did not take me long to get this mower head off, which is good for the engine. And we're going to put this one on. Looks fine. Probably came off a blown engine or something like that. But I need to find a head gasket. First thing I need to do is pull this old head off and hold head gasket off and put the put a new one on. It's unfortunate because it looks like this one had recently been done. So I wonder if he went through the whole process and just... That's a very easy oversight to find where that was cracked at, but that's why it was loose. Again, don't know for sure how deep this was gone into before me. But the only fix for this is a new head. So, from what I can tell, I'm gonna make sure that everything looks good on this. From what I can tell, it almost looks like somebody is like clean the cylinder out too, so that's kind of interesting. I'm going to scrape this gasket off, do what I need to do here, and we'll put this head back on. Y'all saw how I took it off. That's as easy as putting it back on, so let's do it. Alright, y'all saw all the work be done. Adjust the valves to 5/1000ths. I need to put one more screw in here for the muffler. I have pretty high confidence that this thing is going to run now that I put a new head on it. I think that may be for like a newer Briggs, like a 33,000 series, but I mean, I've done this swap before and used a different head and it works fine still. So it's very small differences between them. Hopefully this is the same for this. What we did, head gasket, adjust the valves. And these already had the valve caps and stuff on them. And the push rods weren't bent, so I think we're all good. So let me, got some gas in it, I think. Yeah, or do we? Oh yeah, ton of gas. Open that up, and we're gonna crank her up. I mean, the compression release sounds like it's working and everything, so let's see. might be kind of sucky. Because it started right up. Carb is trash or something. Unless he's got this screw out too far, which I maybe. Yeah, I don't really like the way that that carb is. Well, y'all heard it. It ran okay until you got it up to the higher speeds, and then it sounded like it was running rich, really rich. So we're gonna see if there's something going on in the carb, which we're just gonna do a quick little swapperoo here since I've got one. So we'll do 7/16. And 8mm. Again, I don't know if this car has been broken into and messed with, or if it's just one of them cheap ones that don't work right. Sometimes you get a bad batch in what you're selling or what you buy when it comes to them. We may look inside it just to make sure the jet's not off of its mark or anything like that. And hopefully the head that I use isn't biting me in the rear or anything like that either. Shouldn't be. I've done that a couple of times with no issues. So let's see. We'll pop this on. 8mm. Seven sixteenths. Honestly don't even need to put these on yet. Just see. I just really want to see if it works. If it really is just a carb issue, or if it's something more that I need to look into. So let me get this fuel line on here. I'll just go ahead and test it while we're here right now. I do need to cut some of that line off. I just want to make sure that this carb will work before I do that. Open her up. Let this fill. This one might surge a little bit because I got a good deal on some carbs and they are okay, except for the fact that they're a little bit small for the Inteks in terms of jets. So, alright, so we should have let it do what its thing now. Like crap. I do have to drill that jet out a thousandth or so on that carb. I'm going to take this other carb over here to see if, I'm just going to break it open just to make sure that the jet didn't fly up on it or something causing the issue. Might be the case. I will see though. If not, I'm going to drill that jet out on that carb, pop it back in there, and it'll be good. So I'll show y'all that it's running good here in just a few minutes. And I'll tell you what carb I ended up using. So, what I've done, I drilled that jet out by a thousandth. All you have to do, if you loosen up that and those two screws, they're JAS screws, but I can usually get them with an impact. You'll see that jet right on the very bottom of everything, and I just drilled it out a thousandth. If you buy a good carb, you probably won't have to do that. But I'll show you this real quick. So that's good. So what we'll do next is we'll go ahead and, what are we going to do? Go ahead and put all the covers and mess back on it here. And hopefully all that'll work. And once we do that, we'll test everything else out on it, drive-wise and mowing-wise. Alright, it's got a little crowded here in the driveway. Starting to get a little busy around here. It's pretty good. I'm going to pull that mower out, drive it up here. Hopefully it drives. We'll see if it drives in a second. We do know we need to replace the drive belt on it because it's got chunks missing in it. But I do want to see if the blades work and if everything's good in that aspect. Deck belt fell off when I lowered it down to the lowest setting. Seems a little loose too. Let's see. That double stack pulley, I don't really like the way it looks either. So, and we keep adding on things that I need to do here. But let me see if it'll go again here. Runs good, shifts great. Got to do a little bit of working on the deck. Let me see if I can show you this double stack pulley here. See how it's kind of moving around a little bit? Like going back and forth a little bit. So I think it's a little bit bent. I think y'all saw that. I've got a couple others. I'm going to just pop another one of those on here. I do need to take the deck off. The deck kind of seems a little high, but it's okay otherwise. I think the deck belt may be alright. And we do need to grind out the grooves in the deck, which is a given on these. I was expecting to have to do this. So we are a decent ways there. We still have a little ways to go. So but I'll check the blades and everything to make sure they're good. Once we get this deck off, and we'll see what all is left for us to do after I get the mower deck off, double stack pulley, and amongst a couple of other things. So I pulled the deck off. Again, these aren't too bad to take off. You have your two front mounts. I usually try and take them off of the arms right here on the front. I had to knock that one out a little bit. And then on the side here, we have a couple of mounting points on the lift arms right there. One that mounts to, or the spring mounts to that pulley and then locks into that arm. And then there is an anchor on the back there. So, and then you just drop the deck, slide everything out. I've got it on jack stands because I want to show you all the drive belt while we're down there. It's a little bit wet, so we had a lot of rain yesterday evening. Had a lot of rain this week, actually. Getting down here, if we look, so the double stack pulley, I think y'all may have seen that belt. I didn't show y'all that belt very well, but it's wearing. This pulley, I can see it going up and down and around and things along those lines, and it really needs to just be replaced. So I'm going to put one of these on here. Hopefully the light's good enough underneath here. You can kind of see cracks in the belt. There was one area that there was actually a chunk missing off of the belt, and so I've got to put a new drive belt on this as well. I actually don't even know if this is the right pulley for this machine. Or it's a different type of pulley that I've seen for these Craftsmans. But either way, we'll get another one on here. Drive belt is very easy. Just drop this pulley. You don't even have to drop the pulley if you don't want to. You put the park brake down, which I've already done, and that loosens the belt. I can almost get it one-handed here, honestly. So you just kind of route it around these guides like that, and then you go over this. I need to take the battery out of the back, and I usually pull the battery out of the back just to get a little bit better view and look of everything. And then you just take that belt off the front, which we're going to pull that pulley anyways, and put a new one on there. And then it's just a matter of putting it right back the way that it was. It's one of the easiest drive belts to replace on one of these lawn tractors. Doesn't require really anything to be removed except for the battery and maybe the double stack pulley. So looking at these pulleys, I thought that this may be an MTD pulley on it. I'll show you the difference between the two. The MTD pulley, if you look hard enough, is got a little bit more of a collar on the top. It's a little bit shorter when it comes to the let's see, where the drive belt kicks in, and then the deck belt's going to be a little bit different too. So that would explain why I was having issues. Also, I think it may be cracked on one side. I don't think we're going to be saving that pulley just because of the way it looked. But here's a Craftsman one. I've kind of grinded out a little bit of the rust in it. We're going to put a new deck belt on it as well. And obviously I'm going to go ahead and throw the drive belt in while I'm here. So let me go ahead and take care of all that. And probably just go ahead and get this deck mounted back on. Oh, I will show y'all how to, the process of grinding out these grooves on the deck, because y'all heard that it was hanging up whenever you engage the blades, or more specifically disengage the blades. And we're going to fix that while we're here, just to make it so that it's really easy to engage and disengage the blades. So I've got the mower deck here, and we're going to pull off the grooves or grind down the grooves in this. It kind of looks like this spring is not the right one, but it was working, so I may just keep it on. It's probably better than the original, honestly. We have to replace the deck belt on here, so easy enough to get that off. You just pull it between the fingers of the deck here, and this one's a little tricky. You just got to get it above the blade brake. Pull your little plastic cover up and get it across that. Pull that out. Pull out your other blade brake, and you can see this belt's been burnt up for some reason. I don't know if this double stack pulley did it or what, but now that we've got it here, what we can do is go in here with a 9/16 as a carriage bolt. So just keep pressure on the head, on the bottom of it, and it'll allow you to take it off. Again, this right here has a little bracket that butts up against this mount here, and then you have your pivot washer, your actual arm itself, and then this little really thin washer that goes on the bottom before you hit the actual plate there that it mounts on. And as you can see right here and right there are really, really bad. So all I'm going to do is take a grinder to both of these and literally just grind these things flat. And I'm going to grind that lip off a little bit on this side and just kind of round everything off. It makes the blades engage so much easier And also, what I'll also do is put a deck belt on the rest of the machine here. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. Again, it's as simple as grinding down these grooves and then putting it back on just like I took it off. So let's do it. All right, it's time to put everything back on now. I just kind of wire brush this area. I like to throw a little bit of WD-40 on it too, just to help it out. But man, this took some grinding to get these grooves out of here. But you can see I got them out. This thing should engage and disengage like butter. So we'll put them on there. We'll put everything back on like it is supposed to go. Gotta make sure you put this arm in the grooves like it, so that it will attach to the grooves whenever you engage the blades. This pulley here, we believe we got everything. It butts right up against the this bracket here. So, carriage bolt, we'll get that in, and then we will get a 9/16. Hold it while we do this. Ooh, gotta be careful there. Okay. So now, let's put the spring in, because we should have everything finished at this point. Who knows where that shot off to? I'm going to put that spring in, and I'll show you. Either way, I'll show you that this action is should be much better now. Still hanging up just a tiny bit there, but we'll see. I gotta go find that spring. That thing just shot off. All right, everything is on again. Drive belt, deck belt, all that good stuff. Hopefully we have a running and cutting machine now. I will show y'all that, well, for this deck height adjustment, I just actually put a screw in here and to give a little bit more leverage for the height adjustment. Reason why I didn't go with a new button is because this piece right here is missing. This little rubber grab piece that kind of sticks up a little bit, and so I felt like that if I put another one of these rubber buttons on it, it would end up breaking off just like the other one did. So this will work just fine for what we're going to use it for. Deck wise, well, I'll just turn the blades on and off, and you'll see that they're very easy to do now. So that's blades on, belt is tight, and blades off. That's how you want it to be. Drive grabs really good. I was popping wheelies whenever I tested it out before I put the deck belt on. I'm going to get it out here. We're going to make sure that it runs and drives like it is supposed to, so that we can get it nice and clean, grease it up, level the deck, check the oil and make sure everything's good there, and move on to the next one. Seems to be good. How about y'all want to go for a little ride? see if the reverse safety works on it too. If it does, then that's a plus. All right. Sharp now. I just need to make sure that the belt is gonna do what it needs to, so I might just hop in the backyard for a little bit and go to town on it. We've got a lot of machines to fix here, so we're done with this, and that's good. We'll move on to the next one. So I'm just gonna let it sit here for a little bit. Grab a little lunch, and I'll revisit it when I come back out. So I've tested everything out, went ahead and gave it a good cleaning. It is ready to go. It does seem like it takes a couple seconds for it to start up, but it does start up every time. I changed the plug out from one of them mediocre aftermarket ones that had already been fouled or was pretty black, because of the carburetor issue that I had when it came into me. So now I've got a champion plug in it, threw some LED headlights in it. You can kind of see that as well. I'll show that to y'all on the test here. The last test run, and shine it up a little bit. So let me crank it up and we'll walk around it. Still wanting to backfire a little bit for some reason. It runs good though. You can hear it. Could be an ignition coil partially going bad, I'm not sure. to see if it, or not the head, but the shroud, to see if the ignition coil gap is too big on it. I'm not completely sure. I don't want to keep starting this thing with it backfiring like this though. So that'd be really the only thing I need to sort. It still starts fine. It's just, I don't know, sometimes you got that backfiring issue, and just don't know. So, but it runs great. I've ran it probably a good 30 minutes now since I've repaired it, and it's showing no signs of really any issues. That backfiring might resolve itself over time too. I've seen that happen on these machines, but for the time being, I think this thing is good, at least in terms of the video. I'm gonna give it one last look. I'm just gonna make sure that the plug gap is right, and if it's so, on the tail end of this video, I'll add any additional information as if I find any. So that is everything on this Craftsman LT1000. I think we did okay. We had to do a little bit more work than I thought in order to get this thing running again, but we should be alright in terms of it. I have sold one of them already. I had it listed for $625, that LT2000 you already saw on the channel, and I had a ton of interest at that price point, even though this is an LT1000 that has the gear drive and the bagger mechanism. That will add a little bit of value to this, and this mower is in a little bit better condition, so I'm going to list it for $700 to see if I can get interest on it there. Again, I do want to see if I can sort that backfiring when hot out a little bit. We could have a valve seat that may not be perfectly seating anymore. Don't know. We know the valves are adjusted correctly, and the mower runs, drives, and cuts great. It's just I got to sort out that backfiring, and I'm going to do that here in just a second. But for the purpose of this video, we're pretty much done. We've gotten this thing sorted, and y'all saw it took a little bit more than we needed in order to get this thing going. Unfortunately, I thought it was just going to be a valve adjustment and potentially a new push rod or two. No, we had to replace the entire head, and then on top of that, we had to replace the drive belt and the deck belt, change the double stack pulley out, and do a couple of other small little things. But still, I'm still in the good on this, especially if I get what I'm asking for the machine. So thanks again for watching this video. Again, another testament as to how good these Craftsman LTs are. This is what, the third one I've fixed in 3 weeks or something like that, and they just keep on cruising on. So got another one in the garage. Hopefully you'll see that one on the channel soon, and we've got a lot more machines, a lot more riding mowers especially, coming out for y'all to see here on the channel as well. Y'all seem to enjoy the riders the most. I'm going to do my best to give y'all as much riding mower content as possible within my abilities. Thanks again for watching this video, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Alright, I didn't show you, but the ignition coil on one side was about twice or three times the gap of what it was on the other side. I set it to 10 thousandths, or basically as close as I could get to the flywheel without rubbing it, and it seems to be doing better. It started 3 times without backfiring, so I hope it doesn't make a liar out of me now. And it's starting much easier too. I'm still covering my ears. That's 4 times in a row with no backfires. I think we got it fixed. Just wanted to give y'all that resolution.